Hey guys, what is going on? I go by the name of Pete on the beat. In this video I would like to take you through another full day of cooking, eating, training and flexing, a little bit of flexing in the end of the video. So without further ado, I would like to start with the actual training session that I want to show you. But before that I would like to point out that I took a decision to change my split, and while I'm showing you a little bit of footage from the gym and all that, I would like to explain you exactly what I'm talking about. Typically, I prefer to alternate between training a body part twice a week, probably for the arms 3 times a week, and something similar to the Arnold types of splits where you train body part 3 times per week. I know plenty of people will say this is an overtraining. So in order to avoid all of the overtraining and all that, what I do is I lower my volume, the total volume of the sets and reps that I do for body part and whatnot when I do a split that is similar to the Arnold splits and whatnot. And on the other hand, I use mostly isolation type of movements. Basically, I do not do compound lifts and all that. So the other split, the split that I prefer to use most of the time, for example 60 to 70% throughout the whole year, it is based around training muscle group twice per week, probably as long as for the arms a little bit more, which means that I'll probably incorporate something like feeder workouts here and there. So on Thursday and Monday I train back, lower back during the AM, and something like accessory type of training, which includes upper portion of the back, which is one of the strongest points of my body, and some arms, of course, a little touch on the arms and a little bit of rear deltoids. So in this video I would like to take you through the whole lower back routine I did this morning and a little bit of ab training before the actual routine. As you probably already know, if you're a subscriber to this YouTube channel, I prefer to train abs and calves before each and every body part. And the reason for this is because, first of all, this allows me to warm up my whole body a lot better, and on the other hand, I definitely believe most of the people need to put a bit more effort in the development of their calves. I hope that makes sense. So the first exercise that I did was some leg raises, supersetted with a little bit of rope crunches. Those are probably my favorite ab exercises. I did like 5 sets each. I hope that makes sense. So the first exercise that I did, as long as for the actual back training, guys, was a reverse grip, or as a lot of other people prefer to call it, underhand grip pullovers. In general, the pullovers are one of my favorite movements for warming up the whole back. I always prefer to start with pullovers, and the reason for this is because, pay attention to the thing that I'm about to say, because it's extremely important, and it is a bit of an exotic tip, if I can put it like this. When I started training, I used to go ham on pull-ups, free-weighted pull-ups and all that, or for example pull-downs. So I noticed that if I start with pull-ups or any kinds of pull-downs and all that, there is a huge possibility for me to develop some kind of asymmetrical proportions, as long as for my left and my right side, the left and the right side of my back. So when I start with pullovers and I basically pre-exhaust and pre-fatigue, on the other hand, most definitely I'm able to warm everything a lot better, everything runs smoother and all that. This is great, you probably already know this, but I'm actually able to make both of my sides work equally. Like, this is the best way to describe it. I'm able to activate both of my sides. This is the reason why I always prefer to start with some kind of a pullover. As long as for the lower back training, I definitely prefer to use the underhand grip with this easy bar type of a handle. I prefer to call this the easy bar type of a handle because the shape of this handle reminds me an easy bar. This is probably obvious. And I try to arch my back. I do not try, I actually arch my back, and basically I try to isolate lower and middle portion of my back. And this exercise is killer for this thing. Like, it's killer. As long as for like starting the whole workout, as long as for warming up the back and all that, this is a cure, believe it or not. So the second exercise were some standing one-handed dumbbell rows. For the most part I prefer to do the standing version because this allows me to get deeper stretch you're gonna be able to see this on the footage. So the third exercise were some bent barbell rows. I started to do them again, especially when I train like lower back, and I believe that type of a training, especially if you're able to do like twice a day splits, it's a lot more beneficial. First of all, you're gonna be able to synthesize proteins a lot more effectively. You probably already know this, but on the other hand, those bigger muscle groups such as legs, back and all that, you're gonna be able to prioritize each and every area of those bigger muscle groups a lot more effectively as well, which is hell of a benefit. So this is something more of a heavy compound training, I guess, because for the lower back I prefer to use more of a free weighted movements, the rowing movements. Most of the rowing movements, they're mostly free weighted, as you probably already know. And as long as for the actual form that I use on the bent barbell rows, back in the day I was always trying to emulate the form Arnold and Serge Nubret do, with the widest possible grip and going almost beyond parallel as long as for their lower backs and whatnot. But lately I found that using some kind of a closer grip, I'm not so sure if you're gonna be able to see exactly what I'm talking about, but I use like a bit closer grip, not a bit, but more of a narrow type of a grip, as the width of my shoulders, if I can put it like this. So I guess it's not that narrow, I hope so. This actually allows me to get deeper stretch, and not only to get a deeper stretch, but also to target and even isolate the lower portion of my back, the lower portion of my lats a lot better. So I tend to do the bent barbell row nowadays with more of a narrow grip. I hope that makes sense to you. So after the bent barbell row, guys, I went to one of my all-time favorite movements for developing the lower portion of my back. It is quite rare exercise. I'm not so sure if you're familiar with this exact version. This is the seated cable row on a dumbbell. I don't know if there is a specific term or a specific name for this exact movement. As long as I know, this version of the seated row, the seated cable row, it is invented by Charles Glass, the godfather of bodybuilding. You probably already know who Charles Glass is. In my personal opinion, he's one of the best trainers of all time. He uses a lot of isolation and all that, but I believe this version is invented by Charles Glass. So if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comment section down below and probably let me know who is the inventor of this amazing technique, because this allows me to isolate the lower portion of my lats like nothing else, believe it or not. This is like keyword for this exact purpose. This actually allows me to stretch the lower lat even more than the actual dumbbell row. This one is a keyword. If you really strive to attain that type of physique, that you create an illusion that your back starts almost like right above your glutes, you probably already know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when you hit a rear lat spread or back double bicep, front double bicep. If you really want to be able to create this illusion like your back starts above your glutes, like those flying squirrels. I always have this association in my head with the flying squirrels because they actually have this kind of a back. This is just a joke. Definitely incorporate this movement in your lower back or your back training in general. You're gonna be amazed at the results. So yeah, this was the fourth exercise. Now we are moving to the fifth exercise, a little bit of rack pulls. Most of the time I prefer to use smitted head pulls. Most of the time I prefer to use Smith rack pulls, Smith deadlifts, Smith machine deadlifts, but this time I took a decision to do free weighted rack pulls. Nothing too crazy. I did like 5 sets, 8 to 10 reps. I did like 225, which is like pretty lightweight, especially for rack pulls, as you can probably see. And this was basically the whole training session. So right now, guys, I would like to show you what I ate yesterday, and this is something that I start to incorporate more often nowadays, and pretty soon I'll probably show you how to cook this meal. Anyone can do this meal, but pretty soon I'll probably dedicate a whole cooking video on how to do this exact meal. It's like a great low carb bodybuilding meal, paleo meal if you prefer. It is high in fats, it is high in protein, it is high in fiber as well, and it is based around plenty of cauliflower and plenty of broccoli, and of course plenty of chicken breast, like pretty lean chicken breast, and tons of olive oil and some seasonings, as you can probably see. The whole thing that I would like to point out is the fact that I roast my chicken breast, then I add all of the seasonings. Those are some organic oregano, some organic basil, some black pepper and some sea salt mixed with organic seaweed. If you watch this YouTube channel, then you probably know the exact product that I talk about. I've showed it multiple times. I really like this product, and if you're a fan of the high iodine sea salts, if you're that type of a guy or that type of a fitness enthusiast that believes he or she gets better pumps and his or her muscles are able to peak a lot better when you consume salts high in iodine, vs for example the Himalayan rocks, the pink rocks and all that, I highly suggest you to get your hands first of all on Celtic sea salt, but this is pretty rare and like almost unaffordable, that expensive for someone like me, and on another hand it's pretty difficult for me to get my hands on it. I mentioned once that when it comes to the Celtic sea salt here when I'm based, the only place that I'm able to buy the Celtic sea salt from is a bookstore, which is pretty rare in my personal opinion. Really weird type of thing to buy like salt from a bookstore. But anyway, get your hands on high quality Atlantic sea salt mixed with organic seaweed and you're gonna be amazed at the pumps on the next day if you drink enough water as well. So the whole meal is based around those chicken breasts that I'm showing you right now. They're already roasted and whatnot. I believe they look fantastic, but I'm gonna be so happy if you share with me what is your opinion in the comment section down below. And plenty of cauliflower and broccoli. The important detail that I would like to share with you guys, as long as for the broccoli and the cauliflower, is the fact that I try to boil the shit out of both of them. And the reason for this is because my stomach is not able to tolerate steamed cruciferous veggies. I always talk about this, but lately I figured out a way how to be able to get more of those high quality nutrients by boiling the broccoli and the cauliflower for quite a while and consuming additional amounts of prebiotics and probiotics before my actual meal. So right now I'm about to show you how the final product looks like. I added plenty of olive oil, as you probably already saw. This is an organic olive oil. If you really want to find out the exact brand or product that I used, I believe I showed the actual product in one of my previous cooking videos. It is called like a roasted chicken and a salad, something like this. This roasted chicken and a salad is pretty similar to the meal that I'm cooking right now. Probably this is a bit like on the leaner side as long as for the proteins, because I'm using like chicken breast. Those chicken breasts are organic, as you can probably tell by the color. I already showed you how to determine the high quality meats versus the others. So yeah guys, this is basically everything I wanted to show you. I hope you like the video right now. I will leave you with some additional gym footage and just a little bit of flexing and posing and whatnot. And yeah, I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned for more. Have a nice one. Peace and I'm out, and good work with your lower back training, cooking endeavors, eating one meal a day, keto, low carb, paleo or whatever. And make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure to make them gains. Peace.
Is